I don't.
You had the same thing happen, huh? Yeah.
I just banked on that not being the matchup.
Me too.
So
Yeah. Because you have to, right? Like at some point you have to take some stand. You can't fire a bullet on every single scenario.
no, but that was unfortunate. That was the game that probably did it. But we'll see. I don't know.
You know what was the most unfortunate part about it is that, like, even if you were going with the Tampa stacks and they lost, that's whatever. If it was a 35-33 game or something, but it wasn't. Like McMillan didn't do much. Bucky was whatever.
Yeah, Rachaad White's back. It was. I thought he got hurt, but he didn't.
Thank God Bucky at least had the receiving touchdown. That could have been so much worse. Hey, good evening. Welcome to the Stokastic.com NFL Live Before Lock. Dave Loughran, Ben Rasa. Let's have some fun. This is our final showdown live before lock of the, well, that's not true. Super Bowl, right?
Super Bowl.
But you know what I mean. Like Super Bowl never even feels like you're doing a traditional show. You know, it's more like just a send off.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's hard. Listen, man, you do this I do like 6 NFL shows a week or something. You do a bunch of them. Actually, I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do 8 shows here a week for NFL. And you do 21 weeks. And then it's week 22. You're kind of like, yeah, this is fun, but it's not. Like all right, here's a hot take for you. The Super Bowl is the worst part of the NFL season.
No, the Super Bowl is to me more of like an entertaining. It's more.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't treat the Super Bowl like a normal game.
Obviously, you need the Super Bowl, but if you were like, hey, you could do Super Bowl DFS slates and betting slates every week, or you could just always have like week 7. And I'm taking week 7 1,000 times out of 1,000. It's not even close.
No doubt.
How you feeling?
I feel good. I'm ready to go. We got chat. For the most part, looks like it's ready to rock. Some good people in there. I feel good.
Good. Well, happy to have you guys with us. Rams, Vikings. I'm actually very excited for this game. Like this is kind of a cool game to put on Monday night. All of the games many of them, I should say, that were expected to be good, weren't. But hopefully this one will be 2.5 point spread in Arizona, relocated because of those wildfires out there. Jordan's safe. He's in LA. He's safe. It's crazy. I saw something on the news. It was like an entire trailer park burned down in Palisades. And then they go, each of these trailers was worth around $1 million.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Oceanfront view. But still, like $1 million trailers.
Weird, wild stuff. But yeah, I mean, there are so many things. I was getting a lot of questions like this in Discord. There is always unquantifiable variables for all these games. There's just like exponentially more in this game. And to me, you just ignore it all because there's just no way to know how a team reacts. Either team, either player, just impossible. It's a crazy situation. It's just, you kind of have to deal with the cards that you're dealt from the showdown perspective, because I have no idea if this affects any angle. And it looks like for the market wise, the spread is held pretty steady.
Very steady. It only moved 1 point when they moved the locations. Because if this was from Buffalo or Philly to Arizona,
oh my God, that
way
would be
different.
Way different.
And you know what? Not that it would matter, but teams and fans would be pissed. But with LA, it's kind of just like you didn't really have much home field advantage anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's dive into it. Happy to have you guys with us. If you don't mind, take a single second, atone for your sins this fine evening. It's the final showdown show. Ben, I'm calling 500.
Yeah, we'll get there. We got some good people. The best, like I said, I already see a lot of familiar faces in chat. I see some morons too, but we got a nice mix. That's always expected. What are you gonna do?
What moron? What was
there's people who should be deleted, but you know what I like about this? I feel like when in the past, when I've got into some of these showdown games, we've been talking about, and maybe it's just the ones I've been on, lopsided games, 5-1s. The last one I did with you was Packers Saints. And we were talking about, can the Saints even move the ball? This is a game where you could talk to me about a 5-1 and I wouldn't know which side you're even stacking because both teams have a lot of utility. Both teams have superstar players. I like that from a game theory perspective. It's more wide open than some of the showdowns we've attacked.
It's super wide open. You also have two pretty concentrated offenses. But then with Minnesota, you have these goofy spots where it's like CJ Ham and Johnny Mund and Oliver, who you know, like Jalen Naylor, and you know one of them is going to snipe a touchdown today. You know, like you know it's coming. But we'll break it all down. Happy to have you guys with us. Like I said, if you don't mind, take a second, hit that thumbs up. It goes a long way for us here on the channel. Subscribe to the channel as well. It's free to do so. We wouldn't ask you otherwise. It helps us feed the algorithm. The finicky algorithm. Who knows what's going on, but we try. All right. Shout out to Wally Balls #1. Thank you for gifting those memberships to the people in chat. This guy, I'm telling you, he's from the future. I'm not joking.
He tweeted at us today. It was just graphs on graphs of just absolutely fantastic success. So
There was 175,000 over the last like month and a half with, by the way, the Stokastic Sims tools.
damn right. Love to see it. Just incredible. I mean, doesn't get better than that. Someone who's using the tools and running hot at the same time. That's the best of both worlds. Really, really cool.
Yep. You want to check any of the tools out there in the description. You can get them for free too. The core package, $99 value. Just follow the steps. Sign up with any of our sportsbook partners. Use that link. Click claim offer on any of them. Follow those 4 simple steps. I promise you, it's the easiest process in the world. Not only are you getting the bonus bets included with all of that, right? Like Bet365, 150 in bonus bets for a $10 bet, $5 deposit. FanDuel, if you're somehow not there yet, $5 bet, $200 bonus bets, right? $5 deposit too. That's it. Same with all the pick'em sites. If you're in non-legal betting states, no easier way to get in on all of these tools. You're going to build better lineups. You're very unlikely that the Wally Ball's success is going to trickle down to you in the sense that you get 175K in a month and a half. I certainly haven't seen that materialize, but it's been a good season, man. And these are the best tools out there. We'd love to have you guys try them. I think you'll love them. Plus, you're double dipping on both ends. So check it out. And for those of you signing up that way, 21 years old or to gamble, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Follow those 4 steps. As long as you don't screw those 4 steps up, you could get up to what, like 11 free months of whatever, and you can mix and match sports if you're not on those books yet. So check it out. If you have questions, hit us up. We're happy to answer them. All right, let's go. Goody asked, just a gut feeling, but Kupp is the play on DraftKings. He didn't even intentionally super chat etiquette us, but he's just so good at it now. This is exactly how I wanted to start the show off, because Greg this morning on the strategy show, Matt Kajeski is on vacation somewhere. What's he doing? Is he in the Carolinas or something?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay, well, he's not here.
No, he's not here. Haven't confirmed he's not here, but I don't know where he is.
And by the way, Garth said Pro Bowl's worse than the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, I know. And eating shit is worse than eating steak. I'm not saying that like the Super Bowl is bad. I'm saying it's the part of the season I don't enjoy the most. But Greg was saying that Cooper Kupp could be the ultimate mega mind. He didn't use your phrase, but the ultimate mega mind genius play today. And it's really nuanced, because on one hand, it's like, yes, he absolutely could be. And I don't think anyone would be surprised. Also, he's had another week to rest in the event that he wasn't 100% healthy. But on the other side of that coin, Ben, it's not like he's at a discount. Cooper Kupp is still $9,400. So you're not going, hey, I got a low-owned Cooper Kupp at Jordan Addison price tag. You're getting Cooper Kupp at a $9,400 price point, which isn't that much cheaper than all of the other guys.
No, so it's a kind of a sliding scale. Cooper Kupp to me is just overpriced. I think it's pretty clearly overpriced. With that, I feel like his ownership, and even looking at our data hub, of the very expensive guys, he's the lowest owned, and I think that makes sense. So you look at it and it's like, okay, you're gonna knock off some ownership, but the projection is not great on him. He's still got explosive upside. Clearly, Puka's in I think a better spot, better floor, projects better, more popular, going to be maybe the most popular captain pick, all of that. It's just, how low do you want to go? And do you want to, like I said, over allocate some salary with Cooper Kupp? I'm more likely to not, but I get the angle that if he explodes, his price is not going to matter whether you paid 9K, 8K, or 7K.
Right. but it will definitely matter if you paid 9,400 and he doesn't explode.
But see, that's where Showdown's so interesting to me because if he has a really poor game, whether he's 94, 92, or 72, you're in big trouble.
But what if he has like the 5 for 50 game is what I'm saying.
You're still probably in trouble. I know what you mean, but it's just it's more so when I was, simming out my lineups and whatnot. When you get to Cooper Kupp, you feel the opportunity cost. You really see it in your lineups.
So is Cooper Kupp a guy you want to get over on today?
So it's a little easier to get over just because, again, I don't think he's going to be very popular relative to the other options. And even with that, I'm slightly under.
The thing too, David Charles with a snide remark. Remember, if Kupp has a good game, you don't get any winnings because he has a bad projection. That's not what we're saying. It's certainly not what I'm saying.
What do I know? I got people yelling at me for college basketball games that took place in 2024. So I'm juggling with two hands over here.
What I'm saying is that there's opportunity cost that comes along with it. That's all. So if you're playing Cooper Kupp, which I think maybe this ends up being the angle. Maybe it is. Like this could absolutely end up being the angle that gets you there today. I've had this work for me. I've also had it bite me in the ass before when I take stands on guys like this. But also, if you're doing that, all I'm saying, Ben, especially if you're not playing 150, is that you are sacrificing top-end talent. So this is a give and take in a big way. This is not like okay, he's not very high owned, but I'm going to play Kupp over a similarly priced TJ Hawkinson, or I'm going to play Kupp over even Addison, really. It's like, if I play Cooper Kupp, there's a good chance that I have to forego one of Jefferson, Nakua, Kyren, or one of the quarterbacks in my lineups. The two quarterbacks, I think that's an easier one to stomach. But even looking at, Aaron Jones' price point at 8K, projections or not, although the projections would bear this out as well. Like Aaron Jones to me at 8K, given that, this guy has 20 touch upside in a playoff game for sure. You've seen it in the regular season. That's just a good value. Jordan Addison at 7K is a great value. So it's just a matter of how you want to play it, because Cooper Kupp is kind of sandwiched in between the top of the top, the Jeffersons, the Nakuas, the Kyrens, and then Jones and Addison. Like he's bookended by guys that are all very much quality plays today. But if you do it, you're going to be getting probably significant leverage.
Yeah, and that's in some ways it makes it easier if you really do like him or you think he should be projected higher, because he's going to be the natural leverage. There's no doubt about that. And if he has a monster game, there is, less of a chance that Kyren or Puka really, really get there. So I get it. It's just, again, you're going to sacrifice somewhere, but you have to make a stand. Listen, this is Showdown. You're going to be leaving money on the table. You're trying to avoid dupes. One way to do it is to get the guys like Cooper Kupp. But having said that, that's not where I made my stand.
Okay, where'd you make your stand?
I don't know. That's a good question. When I look at my lineups, it's not per se on, at least this is how my slate fell. It wasn't a slate where I was just like, I have these guys that are projected for really low ownership and I think they're going to have huge games. It was more on a construction base. I left, everyone's leaving money on the table, but I have a lot of teams that are leaving like 1,300, 1,500, things like that. Because to me, it's a fascinating slate when you look at the salary. There's just like no mid-range value of, you have Hawkinson. If you can talk about Addison, but he's, again, more up in the, I'd say upper mid-range. It goes, you've got two kickers, and then to me, it falls off a cliff. Like I was not interested in anybody besides Tyler Higbee in the bottom ranges. So like for me, there's a lot of balanced lineups that I built tonight. And I guess for me, that is the leverage.
Yeah. And truly, even, Tyler Higbee looks fine. I think he'll see an elevated snap count. I think the reason they played him in week 18, my guess, they just want to keep ramping him up, right? Because he'd only been back for a couple of weeks. So I get all of that. But yeah, the value down there, and this is kind of what I was referring to a minute ago. It's not good. Or to start the show, I should say, It's not good, but then you've got like, how many lineups do you have to play before you start seeing guys like, CJ Ham in your lineup and Josh Oliver and Johnny Munn, those type of guys. Because, and another thing you can answer, sorry, I'm all over the place, but two-parter here. Even if that does work, if this ends up being a high-scoring game, like a 2-yard touchdown from CJ Ham that gets you 7 total points might not be enough. Or on the other hand, it is enough because everybody else at the high price, not everybody, but like you just had 5 mid to high price guys that popped off and he got you there and he was the key that unlocked everything.
That is the thing, because this is the type of slate, and I hope this doesn't happen because it's not how I built, where the optimal could have someone who gets like 4. And the only reason they're in there is because Jefferson and they go so crazy that you're boxing out the kickers and the defense. I built more with like, I got over on both kickers and it was not even intentional. I don't particularly even like them. I just, hopefully they get some opportunities and they make them, because that's really where I landed. I was not super comfortable getting to, sometimes we talk about, a $600 player, a $1,200 player. I did not get to those type of guys at all.
What needs to happen? What needs to happen for that to be the case, right? Because I think you'd need at least 3 of the studs to pop off.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it needs to be a build that forces you into that super cheap sub 1K option.
And it's probably around the big time receivers, just because they'll drag Darnold and Stafford's raw points across the board. Like if Jefferson and Puka both had huge games, Stafford and Darnold by definition have at least decent games. So now you've got 4 expensive guys in there, and that's how it would probably happen. I hope that doesn't happen.
But it's not the way you're playing it.
Not really. No, I'm more in the, again, like Addison, Hawkinson, a couple quarterbacks. I'm over on Kyron. I know we're jumping around a little bit, but I feel like the slate warrants that.
No, you have to on these type of slates, on these like high total showdowns. I think you just jump around and try and give everybody. I just, what I'm trying to do is just we hit on everything, right? I don't want to spend too much time on one spot, and by the time we know it, the show's over. That's not going to help anybody. DC24, thanks for the super chat, said, Kupp at captain, large field with no Stafford. Thoughts? I think it's fine. Do you want to have Stafford there? Yeah, it's not going to hurt at all. But look, my thing, one of my favorite teams to target in the league with and granted, it's different when you're talking showdown compared to a main slate. One of my favorite teams to target in the league going wide receiver, running back, no quarterback is actually this team right here. Because in the past, even with Nakua, even with the ascension of Nakua last year, remember these guys would trade off games a lot. Like, remember when Julio Jones and Ridley used to trade off? You'd never kind of know which one it was, but each week one of them was going to, you remember that though?
Vaguely.
Okay. Maybe it was Roddy. Was Roddy White with Julio?
I mean, he was there. The Falcons used to have some dudes.
Roddy was the man, but I'm saying, was there significant overlap with Julio? Now I can't remember.
Yeah, but I don't think with all 3 of them.
No, not all 3. Just either way, there was a situation where there were 2 good receivers, and each week one of them would pop off, the other one would suck. That's kind of how it was last year with Kupp and Nakua. So you could easily plug one of them with Kyron, and Stafford didn't even have a big game, right? Like Stafford would have maybe 15, and Kupp would have a winning, an optimal type game, and so would Kyron. So I don't think it's crazy. I do think this team is a little bit different now than they were before. So I'd be more inclined to play Stafford with Kupp if you're captaining him now than I would have before.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're always gonna, if you're doing that, you kind of know you're going against the correlation and you're trying to just be unique. What you'd probably want is actually a horrible game where there's like no touchdowns and Kupp has a ton of receptions and no one can score. And the kickers get a ton of points. Kupp gets a ton of points, and Stafford, who doesn't run without touchdowns, he has no path. He needs to score. So that's kind of what you're looking at. I'd say it's doubtful, but again, you only have to be weird stuff happens in Showdown.
Yeah, seriously. I think there's a actually never mind. Never mind. The kickers are one spot I'm actually getting less of than I thought I'd be getting.
Really? Well, we got the bases covered because every lineup I was building, all of a sudden, both these dudes were in there.
Amy asks, who do y'all trust more, Stafford or Darnold? Truthfully, I don't. It's not a trust thing. I think Darnold has the higher ceiling in that offense than Stafford. That's kind of just the way I see it. I think Darnold's ceiling is a little bit higher than Stafford's. They're going to try to run Kyren Williams as much as possible. You know what his rushing attempt prop is?
22.5.
21.5. But that's nice. That's a really high number.
Yeah, it is. That is a lot.
Like that's higher than most weeks of Saquon. So some people in chat saying they trust Stafford more. Sure. Again, Stafford limped into the postseason, and I have no issues with it. He's a veteran. He's got the experience in a game like this. I just think that Darnold is in one of those spots where, like, the attachment to Aaron Jones, Ben, looks a little bit better for me. I'm going to have both of these guys for sure. But Aaron Jones is a more proficient pass catcher. They use their running backs in the passing game more than they do Kyren, right? Like Kyren has a 9.5 yard receiving yards prop. So they all work, but I like Stafford a little bit more here.
I got to a lot of both of them. Yeah, I really don't know. Like I said, I also think, again, you want to talk about unquantifiable things. I'm interested to see if there's not even a hangover. Like if Minnesota loses, I'm not going to say the Lions game destroyed their season, but just with the way it went down. I was talking about this in my Discord today about, like, I wonder if Minnesota will be a little more apt to take points in the red zone. I was thinking about that. It's part of the reason I did manually boost the kicker, because I really think that they want to make sure that the Darnold game in particular doesn't snowball. Like if he gets off to a horrible start, I think that could get out of control.
Very funny you'd say that, because I thought the same thing, but in a slightly different, I saw it through a slightly different lens. And what I mean is I saw it as Darnold has gotten into real trouble this season multiple times. Do you remember the Jaguars game?
No, I've blocked out all things Jaguars this year.
Okay. Well, there was this Jaguars game where they won, like,
the Jaguars won.
No. The Vikings did.
I don't remember that.
The Vikings did. And it was like 13-9 or something like that. 13-7, something terrible, right? 12-7. And Darnold got picked off 3 times, all of which were throws to Justin Jefferson in the end zone. And you saw some of that last week too, where a lot of forced passes to Jefferson in the end zone once they got to the red zone. Maybe they take points. I think, yeah, sure. They're probably more likely to take points and not be dumb. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if they started looking elsewhere if teams are doing everything they can to take Jefferson away. And I'm not saying for the game. This is not a knock on Jefferson. He's one of my highest exposed players. What I mean, though, is that in those red zone, like inside the 10 type spots, it's his first read and sometimes his only read. And it's gotten them into some trouble. And Jordan Addison has 1 fewer touchdown than Jefferson on the season, and he's played 2 fewer games. He scored 7 times over his last 8. He can score from 40 yards out. He can score from in tight. I think Addison at 7K just looks, I don't want to say he's boom or bust, because he isn't. His target share over the second half of the season has come up dramatically. But at 7K, I just really like that price point.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's someone that's always going to have utility, not just in your lineups, but as captain, because he has mega blow up upside. We've seen it time and time again for him. Different price point. I have no pushback on that. I like Hawkinson though. I bet him to score plus 200, which is out there. I just think he fits a lot of builds. I'm not really getting to a ton of Hawkinson at captain, but he just has been underwhelming, and I'm more bullish on what we've seen. I mean, he's got 26 targets over the last 4 games, and that's resulted in 14 receptions. It's not like he is crazy ADOT. Like that should be higher, and I think it will be. He's got red zone utility. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get some looks if what you're saying is true. Maybe they try to take Jefferson away on the goal line as much as possible. I think Hawkinson's going to be a key to this slate.
No issues with Hawkinson at all. They're pretty concentrated. Morningwood Blue says on a 4th and goal last game, they ran a pick play for Addison. He broke wide open. Darnold was looking right at him and then turned away through to a triple covered Jefferson. Yeah. I don't remember the specific play, but it wouldn't surprise me. It's kind of what they've done. And, when you look at the best plays on this slate, I know you like Hawkinson a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fault you there. His volume's been pretty nice. He's 3rd in line behind Jefferson and Addison, but it's pretty solid. But the Addison price point at 7K, this isn't even like hey, I'm saying he's going to have a big game. No, I think at 3K, he's underpriced. I think the similar argument could be made for Aaron Jones, just because, or not even underpriced. How about this, Ben? They just fit really well on a game with a near 50-point total.
This is where, though, to me, I feel like we're building puzzle pieces of a balanced lineup. These are what my lineups look like. I'm getting to a lot of these guys together.
Yeah.
I'm throwing in a kicker, and then I'm not really, going really aggressive at the bottom, and I'm not getting like a ton of where I have Jefferson captain with Nakua with both quarterbacks because you just have no money left. So to me, yeah, I like the look of that, and I think that could be kind of where I land tonight.
You really would think that this is more of a stars scrubs type lineup without looking at salaries.
It's that type of game because it's like both these teams are like, I don't even know the best way to describe it, but they've got some big time weapons, but they also have kind of a next tier, and they're all just in that range. Then a Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. I mean, Kyron's a little expensive, but to me, even Cooper Kupp, like these 1B, I guess you could say, 2nd-tier players that I have a feeling one of them breaks the slate. I hope it's not Kupp,
How spread out are you trying to get?
Not that, because a lot of times, when I'm running these, I get a pretty condensed core up top, and then I say, okay, I don't know which sub 2K player it's going to be, so I'm just going to start spraying, 5% here, 8% here, 12% here. I don't have those guys, so I don't have a lot of one-offs. I'm pretty condensed. So I probably, this could be a full bagel for me if this goes wrong. I definitely have that downside tonight. Like, because if Kupp is the captain, say he has 2 touchdowns tonight and he's the optimal captain, I'm stone dead.
There's a lot of those, though. I mean, I don't have a lot of quarterback at captain either.
Neither do I, honestly. I have 0% Stafford at captain.
Yeah, I have more Darnold. I think
Me
I have
too.
like 6% Darnold, 1% Stafford. But then again, I have a ton of Puka Nakua at captain. I have a lot of Justin Jefferson at captain. So I'm still, it doesn't matter. Doesn't really. There's no rushing upside with these guys either. Maybe a little bit for Sam Darnold, but nothing noteworthy. You're never going to get that upside for Matthew Stafford. So in the event that Matthew Stafford has a big game, think of it like this, right? And tell me if you see it differently. In the event that Matthew Stafford has a big game, is it possible that it's like a DeMarcus Robinson or Tutu Atwell and that would bagel me right there.
Tutu Atwell would bagel me. That's for sure.
In the event that happens, then sure, maybe Stafford is optimal, right? And he just spreads it out. But if this goes the way that it's gone literally all season when everyone's been healthy, you'd probably still rather have like a Puka Nakua, maybe even a Cooper Kupp at the captain spot, because for the most part, and could eat my words here, I have no clue. But for the most part, we can only go off of what we know, right? And this is the type of team that really concentrates their targets around a couple of guys, which in that case, you'd probably rather just have the pass catcher at captain.
I mean, again, with those type of guys, if you have a couple flyers, it's going to open up the entire salary. I just with the Rams, we've seen this roulette with not just, and I mentioned that I do like Higbee, but you're incurring a ton of risk there. How many times have the Rams played musical chairs with these type of weapons all year? From Davis Allen to Parkinson to now Higbee, and then even with the wide receivers outside the big guns. So it's really tricky to even know what the snap count looks like. Worthwhile flyers, but your floor is zero with all these guys.
So it's musical chairs for sure, but it's also, I think, less musical chairs since Puka Nacua returned in week 8. From a volume standpoint, like where it's going to with these guys. You can say Demarcus Robinson is very clearly the wide receiver 3, right? That's a fact at this point. Demarcus Robinson is the clear 3 behind Nacua and Kupp. He's going to be out there for 75+% of snaps, or give or take a little bit. Besides that, like if you look at Tutu Atwell's snap counts coming into the final 3 weeks of the season, not including last week where the starter sat, 31%, 21%, 16%. Jordan Whittington, 15, 23, 16. And then you get into the real weeds with like Colby Parkinson, Davis Allen, and Hunter Long. My hope here is that, my hope really is that Tyler Higbee just plays like 65% of snaps in this game, and the scraps are left for Allen and Long and Parkinson, whoever. I don't even know. I should look. It doesn't matter to me because I don't have any, but are all of them even active? Like, I don't know.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any of them, so yeah. Are you playing? Talk about jumping around. Are you playing any Ronnie Rivers?
No, no. I maybe it's a bold proclamation, so take it for what it's worth. And yeah, wait, for the Vikings, no skill players are inactive. For the Rams, yep, no, same thing. That's what I figured it would be. Tyler, yeah, okay, that's it. Anyway, I'm not the whole bold proclamation thing here was that if you were to ask me to set the over under on percentage of snaps played for Kyren today,
90.
well, assuming he doesn't get hurt, like that's baked into it. If he gets hurt, it just voids. I'd say like 97.5%.
He's gonna be busy.
Blake Corum's out.
I know.
Do they want to? I know you know, but I'm saying, does McVay really want to trust Ronnie Rivers in a winner go home spot?
Yeah, I mean, there's a very real chance that they just say, "Well, let's not even mess around and just consolidate all the production behind Kyren." Do you have any lineups without either quarterback? That's a good question. I don't think that it's very minimal. I got to both quarterbacks in a pretty healthy way.
I don't know, the likes. Jordan thinks YouTube is messed up. It keeps flicking, but it doesn't go up. Either we're getting botted down by a bad actor or YouTube is messed up, which would be the far more likely.
Maybe that's why chat's got so many goblins in it. We'll blame it on YouTube. Smart.
I bet there's plenty of non-goblins. Here, let's do an experiment. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't done so. Watch what I'm saying. Ready?
All right.
Okay, so now.
So it just works.
Now the fellas are rolling. Now, Jordan, I'm not wrong, right? You've seen that throughout the show, haven't you?
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
Jordan, yeah, it's tweaking out for sure. Like when the like rolls over, it goes up. Like you'll see it do the ticker roll. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it would do that and it would just stay at the same number for like 5 minutes. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I kind of see it. And by the way, chat, appreciate it. Everyone hitting the like button. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, we got good people. We do. It doesn't matter how fucked up YouTube is. Chat's going to come through. See,
yeah, they'll break the algorithm. They don't care.
It did it again. What's that, Jordan? I thought you said something.
Rivers will be in the screen game. I could see that. I don't think it's impossible that's the role. Why? Because Sean McVay does weird stuff.
Yeah, but like Rivers hasn't been used. What? They'd rather throw to Ronnie Rivers than Kyren?
I mean, I don't think it's crazy that he kind of manufactures a Blake Corum like role. Could be wrong.
Okay.
I don't think it really matters. Like, to me, that's irrelevant to Kyron. There's almost no situation where you play Kyron and you say, man, I didn't get there on volume.
Sure. But like, even if you took a Blake Corum roll, that could be a 3-snap roll. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, 100%.
Could be 0. If what's more likely for you? Ronnie Rivers plays 10 snaps or Kyron plays 100% of them?
I mean, Ronnie Rivers plays 10 snaps.
See, I think the other way around.
Yeah, I think he'll have a role. Not a role where I'm worried about him doing anything on the slate, but just a role where it's not impossible that he serves a purpose. Like, I think he could have a role that's analogous to Cam Akers.
Really? See, I would think
That's on the high side, but yeah, I don't think that's impossible.
Okay. Problem is he's $2,000. He should be $200.
If it was $200, I would have a pretty healthy amount of him.
Akers is the one I mentioned it to Greg today that I'm thinking, do I try and get a little bit only because Aaron Jones has such a checkered injury history that, Cam Akers might, I mean, Jones got banged up just last game as well. But Akers at that price point, I can't play everybody. I can't get everyone in large doses here. And Akers is going to be, the casualty of the slate. I only have a couple lineups with him. Most of these guys, I just essentially don't have much of. That is what scares me. I'll tell you right now, it's not being over the field on Cooper Kupp actually scares me less than the fact that one or two of these, I won't even say creative players, but to the casual, they would be, right? Having a like 2 for 50 and a touchdown type game, right? Like think of it like if you have the Troy Franklin play, like we saw in the Buffalo game with the Broncos, if you have that play at his price on this game and you don't have him, it's a wrap.
Yeah, or Curtis Samuel or Jahad Dots. I mean, what were we doing yesterday?
Or De'Ami Brown.
Like, seriously. Catching an anytime touchdown was near impossible yesterday.
I'm only mentioning Troy Franklin because you hit me up like 2 minutes into the slate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SC, appreciate you, my man. Good guy.
Yeah, thanks, man. We had a super chat too. Did I miss it? Oh no, we got it from Josh. Someone asked also, I think it was Paul, have we considered the LA effect? He said not to be insensitive, but you saw what happened with the Chargers and the Fires. I don't know, man. I thought the Chargers were in the kind of a letdown spot before the Fires, because they were getting a lot of steam, a lot of hype, and we'd seen them against good football teams not really play all that well. I think, just my opinion, Ben, but I think the Rams are a better team than the Chargers are. I also think the Vikings are a better team than the Texans. But no, I'm not. If the question is, am I factoring that into anything? Nah, absolutely. I can't, because I can't I can't qualify it. Or quantify it. I don't know what I would do there. They're still in a stadium where weather is going to be a non-factor. I mean, what can I really do about that outside of try and psychologize the situation? And I'm in no business of doing that.
Yeah, that's where, again, I think it's just impossible, because if the Rams get crushed, everyone's going to say, they just weren't ready to play. If the Rams crush the Vikings, people are going to say they were inspired, they banded together, and and who knows? I have no idea if any of that is true. You know what I mean? Like, you can always attach something to it. So I just can't really worry about it. Oh, SC is in the 4-4-4 tonight. That's a good one.
Wow.
Take it home. That's a good one.
Hell yeah, man. Snag the ticket. That's a nice feeling.
The tickets are the way to do it, man.
A $4,400 contest. Yeah.
It's always good to take your shots. That's the key with DFS is, we talked about this on First Look. extend the runway, take your shots, and eventually you get lucky at the right time, and then you take off from there. That's the goal.
Yep. Goody said, for the record, single lineup sim really hates Cooper Kupp. Yeah, you'll have to make some adjustments on your own there, which you can, which you definitely can. Sharon, can you run a Sims for DK and show lineups, Jordan? Do we have a Sims run for DK? Yeah, throw it up, enlarge the screen, and throw some of the top lineups up there for Sharon and everybody else to get a look at. But yeah, there's a couple things here. My exposure is actually spread out to a lot of the top guys. Like if I'm looking at flex position, right? Darnold, Addison, Nakua, Jefferson, Stafford, Jones, Kyron. Like I'm pretty much 30+% on all of those guys, which I'm fine with. It is more balanced, as you pointed out, than you would have thought. Like it's actually pretty balanced. At captain, I have more Puka Nakua than anybody.
Same.
I'm not really taking any egregious, like high leverage stand outside of being above the field on Puka Nakua. It's just one of those sites where it could kill me. Like you said, I could just bagel out on something like this. I'm not getting all that cute here because I still think there's ways to leave salary and get really good lineups.
That's more what I did. I'm over on Kyron at captain too. I want to make that known.
You are okay.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
What do you have? Like the 15% range?
No, a little more than that. Yeah. About again, I'm still like kind of tweaking over here. About 20, 25-ish. I like Kyron today. He's gonna be busy. He really is.
Absolutely. The only thing that sucks about Kyron, because he owns that backfield, right? Like you get down near the goal line, Kyron, right?
He's scoring tonight.
You get anywhere near anywhere, it's Kyron. Only thing that sucks is the lack of targets he sees in the passing game. But this is not me downplaying Kyron today. It's just like if this guy has a 2 or 3 target game, you're happy because they don't feature him all that much there. I wish they would.
They can though. That's the one thing they can.
Right, he's going to be on the field the whole game, so who cares?
Yeah. I'm with you. I did bet him to score over on the betting side of things.
What was that? -130?
No, I got a little better than that. I think it was either 120 or 125.
Okay.
It's in my again. Snagged that one right off Odd Shopper.
Speaking of, today's the last day.
It's not even, you have 4 hours and 10 minutes, people. And if you don't know what we mean, we are running our flash sale, EV59. You get a full month of the tools. Obviously, it's really exciting. I know a lot of you already use them, but the flash sale does end at midnight. So if you've been thinking about it, if you want to take you through the Super Bowl, NBA, NHL, and you want to, honestly, I was just talking about this in a different light. You want to extend the DFS bankroll a little more? Like I got crushed yesterday on the 3 game. When I woke up this morning, my DraftKings account, it had destruction from that, but it also had the profits from, I had a pretty good portfolio EV day yesterday. I had some extra money for Showdown today, and it really can help you extend the runway a little bit if you're looking to do that, and it's a big asset.
There's no better feeling than breaking even overall on a day when you get smoked in DFS, but the betting was good enough to where it's like it never happened. I mean, kind of a cheat code. Did you see the by the way, EV59 is the promo. It's the last day. Yeah, what is it? 60%, right? Like 60% off. So $40. Do it for the entire month. Stick with it, okay? Forget about a bad day or two. Stick with it throughout the entirety of the month. If you hate it afterwards, fine. But that's the process. Like if you're going to do it, go into this going, all right, I'm going to commit a month to this, no matter what. Because you're going to see quality results on the other side. EV59, just use that link in the description. It'll get you there, guys. You got what? Yeah, 4 hours before this expires and we're back to full price. So check that out. Did you see that one NHL bet I got today? And DraftKings didn't even impose strict limits on it because it was an alt over. And I never bet overs on NHL, particularly on alts. Let me get $100 down on it was like a +340
Ooh, that's
over a
tasty.
half an assist. They screwed up. I never find these without Portfolio EV
Yeah,
because
who the hell's searching for that?
I just had my notifications on and I was
I
like,
know.
I saw 21 OS rating. I said, oh shit. So I run it plus 340. I jam it and then I look and they screwed up. So their alt lines, and Caesars does this a lot. Pay attention before you ever bet a standard line. If you can bet the alt, check those alt numbers. Same with FanDuel. The standard line was right. It was plus 195. They screwed up and set all the alt lines off. So they set the alt line on the same number because it was alt 1+ assist at plus 340, but over a half assist was plus 195. And they did that with like 5 different players.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. And then Snap, they changed it. But if you have notifications on, I have mine on for every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I have I have mine on just because, again, I just like to catch them throughout the day. But if you have any questions, last thing, and then we'll get back to it. Hit us up. You see our handles are there. We're in there all day. We're in Discord. Just if you have questions, we have answers. No doubt about it.
Radio Shack over here.
That
Isn't it you got questions, we got answers?
They're out of business, so we're taking that. So should I play Akers and Jones in the same lineup? Should is a loaded word. You can. It's gonna be an ugly ground game if you do that. It's not how I built, but you can. They can coexist. Absolutely.
The question was Jones and Akers in the same?
Yeah. So like that's a weird build, but if you say, okay, it's just low scoring and there's 3 Vikings touchdowns and they're all on the ground, that's a very odd build. You could do it.
Yeah. James said, bet that a couple times you will be restricted for sure. Yeah, I'm already restricted on everything other than apparently NHL alt overs. So.
Yeah, if you don't mind about like account health is a very complex issue, but if you don't mind burning the account, not even just with that, but in general, like.
Well, my DK account's essentially already burnt for props.
That's what I mean. What are they going to do? You're limited already, and you can still rack it up very quickly.
I can still get decent down on sides a lot. The only one that doesn't is BetMGM is just a joke with that.
I mean, some of
you want to bet an NFL spread that's like $3. It's crazy. But yeah, either way, we had another question. That I thought was a good one. It was earlier in the show, but it was about like, how do you feel on 5-1s? I think 5-1s are fine today. Perfectly fine.
I actually typically 5-1s come up with bigger spreads. I think there will be less 5-1s in a game like this because everyone thinks it's going to be very competitive. So I like it even more.
Yeah. There's also an angle where it actually is competitive and still a 5-1. Like there's ways that the games just get weird, right? Like in a 5-1 can still play. Yeah. Obviously, you'd want it to be a blowout in this situation.
Or like there are 5-1 utility. Like to me, Kyron can carry the entire Rams potentially.
So can Nakua.
Yeah.
Like what if Nakua just had a huge game? I mean, maybe you'd want Stafford, but maybe you don't need him. And the 5-1 works, and Nakua is the only one that does anything.
You definitely don't need anyone with Kyron, though.
It's true. Yeah, but if Kyron has a huge game, I guess you're right. Like it doesn't mean they're playing with a lead. It could just mean it's a definitely shootout. Not.
Yeah. Couple. It could mean a lot of things. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fair. Very fair. What else you want to get into? We got 4 minutes before we head out. Final showdown slate until the Super Bowl.
Captain and MVP. For me, I think Puka is the most obvious choice, and not that Kyron's sneaky, but I got to a lot of Kyron captain.
Let's hope Cooper Kupp doesn't go nuclear.
Thoughts on Atwell, my friend? I have honestly no idea. I have no idea. He didn't particularly stand out when I ran the Sims, and I didn't manually boost him, and I really hope he doesn't have a big game.
Appreciate you guys hanging out. Remember, you want to jump in, whether it's the Stokastic tools or Portfolio EV. By the way, if you sign up at Portfolio EV, go get some free months of Stokastic too, because you're going to want to be on as many sports books as possible. So just use that link, sign up with the partners, double dip in both of them, make your life a whole lot easier. New Haven guy said he's going to now, Dave, because you keep saying it. I know. Isn't that fucked up how that works?
Yeah. It
is what it is. But follow Ben at JazzRaz Bets, me at Laffy_D. Anything else before we go?
No. Mark just said, thanks, boys. You make it fun. It's not fun unless you guys are here. Honestly, you guys make it fun. So really, really appreciate everyone tuning in. I always like hopping on the show, and now I'm gonna go sweat some lineups, sweat some bets. Let's make some money. Hope to see some guys, some of you at the top.
Yeah, man. We'll see you guys back here. Have a good night. Send us those screenshots. It's the Stokastic HOF. Rock the avatar. Get those free months. Get that ring. You hit that 20K plus. Get that ring. Make sure that avatar's up. Don't be silly. We'll see you back here soon. Peace.